Hey everyone. Hello, hope you can hear me okay. Gonna fix my hair in the crazy camera. It is 11:11 on March 8th. So for anyone who's been following me, my name's Sheila, otherwise known as BlueWater Oracle, and the 8, it felt like a really important number for me and for all of us, I think, this year. The infinity idea, the circles, the connection is super important. So I actually have a sideways infinity in my office that I can see from where I sit in my home office. And being the 8th at 11:11, I wanted to make sure I was online this morning. So if you're joining me or if you join me later, just take a deep, deep breath. And we're going to bring in the connection of oneness, the connection to ourselves, the connection to the infinite universe. Hey, Priscilla. Yes, I thought I would jump on right away. And we're going to breathe in that connection to all that is really good and all we really desire in our lives. So that unity, that infinite love that is present for all of us within ourselves as well as in the universe, even if it's sometimes hard to feel or to recognize or to allow into ourselves. So breathe in that energy. So we started this at 11:11 on the 8th of the month, and bringing in unity, connection, oneness, infinite love, infinite energy into our lives. So earlier this morning, I thought, do I write a post? Do I do a Facebook? What do I do? And then the idea of perfection popped in. Now, I was just on a business call this morning, and we did discuss a little bit perfection, because it can be something that we try to achieve, and we see other people, and we think that they are achieving perfection. But remember that we never know what's going on behind the scenes. We never know what led them to that point. How much work, how much effort. Maybe they didn't think that they were doing it perfectly, but we think they are. So there's a lot of perception in there. So I felt today that there was somebody, perhaps including me, maybe somebody else, who had the idea of being a perfectionist, feeling that they need some guidance and some support around that sort of perfect notion. So I thought I would hop on, and here I am. And I love doing lives. I love doing videos. I'm blessed in that way. So anytime anybody pops in and joins me, I'm uber happy, super happy, and hopefully it is of benefit to you as well. So I brought my oracle cards out. So for any of you who know me, dropping them. See, everybody's excited. There's a reason my purse is big and heavy. Because I carry 4 oracle card decks around with me all the time. So we have the Earth Magic, the Soul Coaching, the Gateway, and the Native Spirit. So let's see who wants to come out to play. I think the Gateway cards were talking to me. And somebody asked me at an event on Friday. I did a card reading cafe at Chef en Vedette and in Pointe Claire. And they asked, why are they wrapped up? Why are they sitting on these cloths? So my understanding, the learning that I've done, partly with the great author Denise Linn, who's the author of this deck, the Soul Coaching, the Gateway Oracle cards, as well as a few of the other decks, is it's a sign of respect. It's a sign of honoring the card, honoring the energy. And usually, because we're trying to connect with universal energies and earth energies as well, a natural fiber is often the best. But what I always suggest is get to know your cards, get to know how you want to work with them and how they want to work with you. And then they will let you know, are they happy in the box? Are they happy out free with an elastic? Do they want to be wrapped up? And the more you get to know them, the more you'll gain that rapport to understand how they like to be kept and what is important to them, as well as what's important to you. So you get that connection to work together. So Gateway Oracle cards. And we're looking at the idea of perfectionism. What do we need to know? What do we need to be aware of, to work on from an Oracle energy standpoint? So whether you're listening live, whether you are listening later and watching later, just take a nice deep breath. If this is a subject matter that resonates with you, breathe into yourself the idea of being perfect. All right? So I shuffle and then I stop, and sometimes it's a card in front of me, sometimes it's the undercard. So this one was an undercard. So I'm flipping it over. Nice card. So they're all nice cards, but sometimes they feel really nice. So it's coming into power. Can you see it? I'll bring it closer. Coming into power. So the affirmation on this card, some of my cards have affirmations by the authors. I step into my power boldly and confidently. So what I love about this image is the visual of this person standing. I always feel like they're on top of a mountain, on a cliff somewhere, and really looking up, really allowing the light to come to them. And this can be any kind of light. It could be sunlight, so just absorbing the sunlight of the day. It could be light from energy that you work with, light from the universe, light from your own highest self that is working on you and with you at all times. So how does this relate to that perfection idea? Being a perfectionist, needing to be perfect. Well, first of all, you've got to acknowledge your own power. And this is not a power hungry kind of thing. This is, oh, that's great. Sorry, I'll come back to that. So this is not a power hungry kind of power. And I know I've said this before on videos. This is a personal power that honors you, that respects you, and allows you to honor and respect others from there. So it's you taking care of yourself. Hi, Deanna. So it's you really taking care of yourself, okay? So when you're being perfect or trying to be perfect, what is important to understand is at what point in that journey of perfection are you still honoring and respecting yourself, or are you no longer honoring and respecting yourself? I feel as though there would be somebody who wants to do the perfectionist thing, but not for themselves. They want it because they feel as though that's going to be a way for them to honor and respect others. That that's a way that it needs to show their honor and respect for others. And it feels as though they've got it twisted around. They've got it twisted in such a way that trying to be perfect shouldn't actually be for the other person. It should be for you. And so if you're honoring and respecting yourself and your own personal power and that light of your highest self connecting with everything, do you really need to be perfect? Where's the expectation coming from? And as I said at the beginning, if the other person, somebody else that we're looking at, seems perfect, are they really? Do we know what's going on behind the scenes? Do we care? Does it matter? Probably not. So allow yourself to come into your own power. And note that personal power is not necessarily the same thing as perfection. And just be aware, why am I wanting the perfection? What am I looking for? So Priscilla, somebody who's on the live, thank you, said that this is for her. It's exactly what somebody that we know in comments asked to move forward. But beautiful, beautiful, coming into power, coming into ourselves. And so the subtext of this could be to watch how the perception of perfection is coming through that. Is it for you? Is it for others? It feels like it's a bigger concept, that idea of perfection. So I'm actually going to go for another deck, the Earth Magic deck. And I apologize, I didn't unwrap them before the call, so you get to do this with me. So they're in a little fairy bag. This is my first Oracle card deck. And then they're in silk as well. So my cards don't really seem to mind hanging out in my purse most of the time, but they do like to be in their own little pouches or their own little silk as well. So carrying on that perfection idea, what do we need to know? Hi, Carol. And the coming into power. All right. So now we're going from a different perspective, the Earth perspective. And it's always interesting when I do these kind of readings, as with all my readings, is that sometimes where I expect them to go, they go differently. And that's fun because that's the intuitive oracle magic happening. Yeah, good. A new perspective on perfection. A lot of coming into power, perfection, perspective. I will work on my diction at the same time. So here we're looking at, there we go, here's the card. So I choose the cards. I sometimes get a feeling that I just need to stop shuffling, or there'll be something that card will feel kind of highlighted. And then if I'm not sure, I just pause and double check. All right. So the iceberg, the submerged card, right? So it's a card that can feel a little bit more intense because of the hugeness of the iceberg and the idea that there's stuff submerged underneath. And you know what this is making me think of? A couple of things, but one is some people might have seen, I know there's some people on the call who are in business, self-employed or in business, and I think we've all seen that picture, that meme that has the iceberg of success on top and the massive iceberg of all the stuff that we've been through. The ups and downs, the lows, the hard work, the intense, the moments where we don't want to do it, the moments we love it. Like it's all underneath. And on top you have this, this beautiful light hitting the snow, the iceberg of perfection of the success. So this feels same kind of thing. When we talked earlier about that perfection, that we don't always see what's going on behind the scenes, we don't always see what's happening underneath. It's only what we perceive. So when you think of perfection, you're thinking about what am I perceiving? But it's also to remind yourself, okay, so I am looking to be perfect in this. Go one layer below that. What does that mean? Why is that important to you to be perfect? Is it a fear? Is it a worry about something? Is it a concern? Is it an expectation that you think you should be perfect? Why would you not? If, of course, you feel as though you're already perfect, then own it. Step into it, own it, love it, just be it, and have a good time. Most of us, I think, know that we have always journey, we have stuff to work on, we have stuff to experience and learn, and that's part of this human experience. So submerged here, related to our perfection, especially with the first card being the coming into power, is what are you not allowing to come up? Out of this, I step into my power boldly and confidently from the first card. Well, what are you keeping under the surface? What are you squashing? What are you not allowing to come up into the light? Okay. So let yourself breathe the fresh air. If you need a visual, think of, you've probably seen, if you haven't actually been on big ice flows yourself, I have not, but I've seen it on nature videos, love nature videos, where there will be a break in the ice, either natural or enhanced by animal life. And you come up and you see from the divers below, you'll see the blue, the deep blue, the different colors of the ice, and you see the light streaming down, making those amazing visuals. And then they can pop up into the light. So this is where you can start to visualize. You know you're coming into power. You know there's stuff that's stuck and squished down and being pushed down. And it's now time to bring it up. So imagine you've chiseled a little space, or maybe you had help. Maybe somebody else has chiseled the space. The light is now coming through. What colors is it making for you? What does it feel like? What is it bringing up? And remember to breathe, feel it in your body, know it in your mind, and let the rest of you all catch up with that. Okay? So allowing it to connect with you. Because I feel as though this is going to allow that perfection to take a step off to the side as your truth, and what wants to come up is allowed to. And that perfection just stays there as a perception, but is not something you have to be a part of, you have to do, is doing it perfectly. So we're continuing. That's why I brought them all. I thought everybody wanted to talk. So soul coaching cards, another deck. The Earth Magic deck is by Stephen Farmer. The soul coaching is another deck by the fabulous Denise Linn. And so soul coaching, all right. So continuing on, this power, this personal power, bringing stuff up, this perfection. Taking a deep breath, relaxing your shoulders. Your body's all crunched up, let it relax, give it some space, right, as it communicates with you and you receive. Let's see here. I want this one, not sure, so I'll shuffle again. Connecting, perfection, personal power, submerged stuff, connection, the light coming in. There we go. Nice. Sanctuary. Sanctuary card. I love this card. It's so bundled up in a nice, beautiful, loving, snuggly blanket. That's a bit the way I am today. I've got my big Dave Matthews sweatshirt on, all cozy. And for me, even, you know, part of the perfection thing is, oh, I'm not in the business where I'm not, you know, maybe my office isn't perfect, so I shouldn't go on the call. No, I knew I needed to talk about perfection. It was 11:11, got to get on the call. Here we go. So that's me jumping on, and hopefully that inspires some of you. And it allows me to do my power, which is to do this with you. So the sanctuary. I am divinely guided gently and lovingly. Gently and lovingly. Perfection. When you think about perfection and trying to be perfect, does it feel gentle and loving to you? Does it feel divinely guided? Let me say that again. When you think of being perfect, of trying to be perfect, of trying to seek perfection, whether it's in something you're doing or in how you're being, does it feel gentle and loving? Does the idea of being perfect feel like sanctuary to you? Let that sit, let that soak in. There's a reason I'm doing this. Somebody really needs to hear this stuff, okay? I believe it's good for everybody. When I do a call, if you're drawn to listen, there will be something in it that will be of benefit to you, whether it's quiet time, whether it's hanging out, whether it's connection, or whether it's something that I say that comes through the cards, or something you receive as I pull in the cards. Hi, Serena. Oh, thank you. Yay. Carol, you say it feels overwhelming. Oh, I gotcha. Okay, I forgot my own question. So the idea of perfection, trying to be perfect, trying to get perfection, rather than feeling gentle and loving, feels like sanctuary. It does not feel like sanctuary. It feels overwhelming. I'm presuming that's what you meant, hopefully. All right. So that's a sign. That can be an indicator to you that there's something about it that is ready to shift. There's something about it that is asking you to double check your perspective. Now, we can be overwhelmed in a great way. Thank you. Yes, that's what you meant. Good. Yeah. We can be overwhelmed in a good way, lots of stuff to do, things to go, and we're excited about it. But when it's the overwhelming, that instead of being a lovely, snuggly blanket that's just cozy and feels good, it starts being the blanket that's holding too tight, that's sitting on you, and you're too hot, but you can't take it off, or it's the itchy blanket. Like it's not a sanctuary blanket. then that overwhelm, that sense of whatever it is, whether in this case it's a perfection or whatever it is that is overwhelming you, if it does not feel good, then it's saying, there's something to adjust. There's something to take a step back and look at. And remember we started with our coming into power card. Then we went into the iceberg. So remember here when I gave the visual being underwater, that you want to have that light, that place that's opened up so the light can start to come in so you can take a deep breath when you come up for air. Well, you might need help. You might need somebody to start to, cut through the ice or to meet you on the top as you're coming up. And that can be divine guidance. It's there all the time for us. We can listen to it. We can learn to listen and integrate and respect. It can also be divine guidance through help from another human that can come in and assist. So be open to that as well. And remember, if you're saying that you need to have help, that you feel as though it's time for you to get some of that assistance to make your air whole so you can breathe through it, put it out there. I need help. So maybe it comes in something like this, where you hang out with me and we do oracle cards. And you get a little perspective shift, you get a little energy shift, you get a chance to breathe into yourself. Or maybe it comes from working with a coach. Maybe it comes from calling a good friend who's really supportive and will really listen. Maybe it comes from seeking professional help, medical help, therapy. There's tons of ways to do it. When you don't know where, you just pull out the call. Put it out to the energy saying, I need help with this. And then it will come forward. You're very welcome, Carol. So for somebody else, so we did, this was about perfection and seeking it and having to have a new perspective on that, how it feels. But as I look at the sanctuary card, there's also somebody else who is really being asked to take care of themselves. Now, I know a few of the people on the call, watch it. I know everybody on the call, so thank you for joining. But, Deanna, see, there you go. She writes that it's funny. Her phone cover is a picture of the universe and the quote, I need your help. Beautiful, beautiful. So we're asking for the help for sure. Okay. So there's a listening. There's a little thing there to say, okay. So then we come back to the sanctuary. So there's somebody, it could be somebody on the call, it may also be somebody who's going to come in and listen and get a little snippet of this later. There is someone who, hold on. So I feel as though there's somebody who just is really getting a call for personal self-care. And I did a card reading cafe on Friday, which was fun, mini readings for people, great. And the self-care came up frequently. So it was a real theme of the day. So it's obviously still there. So somebody really needs to be ramping up their self-care. And this would come from the perspective of, we talked about the overwhelm, we talked about trying to be perfect, having that personal power that's submerged. And so here, somebody needs to be taking care of themselves a little bit better. Never a judgment thing, never a I have to. It's just a knowing. I know I would benefit from taking care of myself a bit better. And then identify one or two things you could do. All right. There is someone else, and I think it feels as though it may actually be a contact of somebody who's going to watch this video. So it could be one of you who's on now, a contact of yours, or it could be somebody who's watching later. So it doesn't feel like it's actually the person who's going to watch it. It feels like it's a contact of theirs. And this person is literally needing sanctuary. They have got themselves into a situation that unfortunately is not so good. They're scared, they're worried, they're feeling quite alone. And I don't even know if they know how to reach out at this point. So somebody might need to do a little bit of detective work or a bit of intuitive work to say, hey, I've noticed some things that you've mentioned, or I'm having a weird feeling about you, and I want to check in. How are you? What's going on? So this is a contact of somebody, I think, if I'm reading this correctly, and you can let me know privately if you want, or you just take it and you just let it sit. And if it comes up, that's great. If it doesn't, that's okay. Things can change very quickly. But it feels as though there's a contact of someone who is in need of sanctuary in the kind of more traditional term of being allowed to be in a safe place, being taken out of danger into a safe place, because they've got themselves into a situation that's not so great and they're quite scared, a little bit worried. So hopefully someone can really reach out and listen for that person. I wonder if it's somebody who's on social media and is just going to be putting out little messages, little notes, types of posts that you kind of go, huh, what is going on behind the scenes? And so it would be, if you feel comfortable to do it, to do a reach out for that person and to say, hi, what's going on? I'm noticing this about you, or I'm feeling this about you. I would like to help, or I would like to help you get help. What's going on, what's needing there. So hopefully that person, we're going to hold that person close. We're going to send them love and light. We are going to wish them well. We're going to hope by the law of grace and all that's good and helpful, that they are going to receive what they need. And as I say that, I hear stuff from social media saying, well, sending love and light doesn't do anything. Sending prayers doesn't do anything. I beg to differ. I beg to differ from two perspectives. So one is that sometimes people don't have another way to give at that exact moment. So putting out the vibration of goodness, hoping that somebody else hears that they're being thought of and supported is going to be good for them. That can be hugely valuable, and I think we all know that in our individual life. The other point is that when a group of people or even one individual starts the ball rolling with good thoughts, with valuable information, with intention towards whatever is needed in that situation, well, guess what? It adjusts energy, it adjusts way of feeling, so that somebody else might be able to take up the ball and say, oh, this feels very important. I can take it the next step. Or I have this idea. I will throw it back to the person sending prayer and say, are you able to do this? And they say, oh, cool. I didn't even think about that. I was sending love and light, but now you've given me an idea, because we're all progressing forward together. So it's always good. I never see the downside of it. I don't see the downside. Let me know if you see a downside. I don't see the downside. Sending love and light, if you can do more, if you can do human type stuff as well, fantastic. Right? So for this person that we think we got information about, we are wishing them well. We're sending them love. Hopefully that they will feel that they are not alone and be able to reach out. And then maybe whoever is connected to them can also do that reaching out. That's the amazing thing with group readings or card readings, is that I never kind of know what's going to come in. So blessings to that person. And I hope that they find the sanctuary they need and can be safe and well, and the people around them can be supported, so that everyone can progress forward in their best interest. All right, I've got those 3 cards. Those feel like we're done. But I feel like I want to pull one more. So back to the Earth Magic cards. All right. You can't see it on camera, but I have this pile of silk, pile of cards. So Earth Magic by Stephen Farmer. So if you're still with me, thank you for hanging out. And take a deep breath. I'm going to do another card. This feels very separate from the others. Different subject, different connection. So we thank for the messages that came in so far. Hopefully they were helpful to you guys. Hopefully they allow a perspective shift or an awareness, a reflection in a gentle, what's that? In a gentle and loving way. Yay. That's what I try to do. All right. Okay, so, okay. So, because sometimes I feel as though it's not going to be connected, what do I know? I'm just the one reading it. So, first card of the day, coming into power. But now we've kind of left that, it does feel as though we've left that whole perfection thing. So pay attention to what I've already said if that's pertinent to you. So now the last card that wants to leave us with is the lightning, the power card. Ooh, yes. I like that, Serena. The power card. All right. So how do we harness this power? What do we do with it? So in here, we've got this real windy. So I don't know if you can see it. Oh, sorry, the camera. We've got the real kind of windy hurricane look. You've got the trees over here, over here that are blowing. You've got the waves and rocks that are blowing, waves that are blowing on the rocks, And you've got the lightning, this power. So we had the coming into power card. And this is now bringing us on a different perspective of this power. So what needs to be harnessed? What needs to be focused so it can come forward from you out into the world? It almost feels like a bit like the submerged iceberg. It feels like there's stuff that's stuck. Okay, to me, because I get feelings, I get info that pops in, but I also get feelings. So when I look at this power card, and yeah, it is a gorgeous card, it feels as though there's something kind of stuck. So remember how we had that blanket that should be a beautiful sanctuary? Well, the overwhelming blanket feels too tight. And this one just feels wrong. It feels like you're not kind of wearing the right stuff. So what is going on with that? What are you not allowing to release? What are you not allowing to breathe into you and through you? And it's not to take it from a negative perspective. It's just to be aware. Is there something that is really speaking to me, trying to move through me, trying to come forward in me? And I feel as though it's a lot to do with the breath. So with the iceberg card, we had that idea of coming up to an air hole where the light's coming down and you can come up and take that big breath. That's kind of what this feels like. It's like it's having to move things through very quickly and shuffle things up because you're just not taking that breath that you really need to allow the power to come up. Does that make any sense? Hopefully it does. Okay, so there's this power that wants to come up, but things are being shaken up because stuff feels stuck. So as you breathe, as you expand into this power, things are not going to feel stuck anymore. You're going to feel lighter. You're going to feel stronger. You're going to feel more able to harness this power and bring it forward, rather than it being stuck to you somewhere. Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, you can go back and look at it, but absolutely, for sure. Priscilla just making a note there. And I'm glad the call was awesome. Yay. So, and we got the water theme again, right? We've got the water down the bottom. And what happens in the waves? What happens when we get waves like that? Well, it's water mixing with air, right? The bubbles, and it's churning over and it's shifting stuff. So does this always feel like a lot of fun for us humans? This shifting, this rolling over? Not so much. Sometimes it can be a beautiful, wonderful moment of release and we feel better. And other times we've held on, we have tried so hard to maybe be perfect, or to maybe not allow the stuff to come up, to be the way we think we should be, to just stay status quo, right? stay in routine. And now we've got to bring this power forward, allow it. It's already there. So it's not really that you're allowing that you can or can't. It's already there. So now it's harnessing it, okay, and allowing it to come up. And what's this stuff that's stuck? Okay, what is this stuff that it's time to just let it go? Stuff that's real. What is that stuck? Let me think. Clutter comes up for me. I have a little bit of it going on in my own office, so for sure that can create a stuckness. Okay, so if you got clutter around, that could be an effect there. Okay, Carol says it does make sense. Good for her. It feels like she's the one responsible for the stuff sticking. It's as if the card is telling me that I have the power and I have to use it. Great, beautiful. Yeah, sometimes we can be our own Velcro and just stuff sticks to us. So be aware also if it's your stuff sticking to you or if it's other people's stuff sticking to you. And then do you want it to stick or do you actually want it to roll right off? Yeah. All right, especially if it's other stuff. Okay. So there's Sonia Chaquette is another author. She deals with intuition a lot. And I know she has mentioned in one of her workshops, seminars, video series, to sometimes ask, who is this? So when you get an intense emotion or a particular feeling that was very unusual, so maybe you're having a great day and then all of a sudden you feel angry and frustrated and you're not sure why. Well, you could ask, who is this? And see if it's maybe somebody very close to you. So Carol, I would ask if there's somebody very close to you going through some stuff. And see if you're allowing some of their stuff to stick to you and your personal power is allowing that not to happen so you can actually help them better. All right. So especially I think with parents, that would be really big. With couples who are really close, like who is this? Is this me or is this somebody very close to me? And of course, the more clairvoyant somebody is, the more clairsentient, the more they pick up on other people's empathic, the more they'll get other people's stuff stuck to them. And you don't want that. You do not want to be wearing an outfit of Velcro. A, not pretty. B, you don't want other people's stuff stuck to you. Your own stuff is enough. Okay. So I'm glad, Deanna, that helps. I'm glad, Carol, that helps, that allowing the harnessing to come up. And remember that this power, remember that there is an unbridled beauty in this power. Okay, so let me picture. I know we're going on a little bit long, and I appreciate if you can't stay. That's okay. I understand. Picture have you ever been on the side of a lake or the side of an ocean as a thunderstorm rolls through? Maybe it's rolling across the horizon. So you're next to water that's just wavy, not too crazy, just wavy. You can hear the rumbling of the thunder in the distance. And then you start to see the lightning. Does it fill you with fear? Some people it does. It's not right with you. It's off in the distance. Or do you look at it and go, oh, that's amazing. Look at the power. Look at the light. Look at the reflections it makes on the water and in the clouds. So that's the kind of feeling you want to have as you think about this power. It's not the feeling of, oh my goodness, there's lightning right beside me and I need to run. It's not that kind of feeling. It's the, wow, look how beautiful that is, how beautiful that feels. That power that is natural and impressive, and that nature knows what to do with it. We're the ones who have to adjust and learn. Okay, so I hope that gives it a nice spin. It's a beautiful thing, but there can be some adjustment, some reflection, some learning. Deanna says that, Priscilla says it makes sense. Good. Yeah, think about that. Diana says she asks, is this mine? And she only takes what's mine, and she's more aware of it. And Serena says the same thing. Oh, no, she says the same thing to the thunderstorms. You love thunderstorms, Diana. So that's great. Yeah, they do have a sort of mystical power. So how does that feel, everybody? I hope that that's good. Sparked from the idea of being perfectionist and trying to be perfect. And we've come into really, literally, coming into our power as we did full circle with the 2 power cards. Okay, and when you look at them together, how amazing is that? Right? The light, the breathing space, the natural power, and allowing it to come up, come forward, come through you. So yeah, food for thought, exactly. You let things reflect. And anytime, especially if it touches you, you have to let it adjust, because sometimes it will give you reflection. It will shift energy in you, and then you let it have its time with you. So you take care of yourself, you reflect on it, you pay attention to signs and feelings, and allow it to go. Yes, crazy, but very cool. Oh, thank you so much, Priscilla. You're very sweet. I appreciate that. Thank you for coming. I'm glad that you could make it on. You are very welcome, all of you. So I wish you all the best for your day. I will have some other events coming up at the end of May, hopefully an Intuitive Circle in person in Beaconsfield, and then looking forward to the summer solstice, hopefully an event if that's of interest to people. I would love to do that again. And next week is Oracle Cove. So things like sanctuary, where we want to feel supported and safe, being able to get these kind of messages when you need them and on a regular basis. That's all what the Oracle Cove is going to be about. So that is an online membership. So stay tuned for more info starting May 15th. If you want to have details, just message me. I'll be happy to give you the details. But I'm hoping to put out some info today about it as well. All right. Looking. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you, Serena. Bless you. And thank you, Carol. You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. I'm so glad you could join us. And if you feel drawn to, please pass on the word. If you think that this could be of help to somebody, if you know that these are kind of things they're struggling with, send them the link. And I'll try to put a little bit of the summary in the words written as well. And have a great day to you as well. It's beautiful and sunny here, a beautiful spring day. So enjoy. There's the phone going. That means it's time to go. Have a great day. All the best.